Welcome to Bert's Vacuums. I'm Kris, and thank you for joining us on another episode of our monthly newsletter. On today's episode, we're going to go over a couple things you can check as a homeowner before you call the service guy in as to why there's no suction coming from your hose. So let's get to it. So to troubleshoot a blockage in the hose or poor airflow in the hose, the easiest way is to start where the tool hits the floor. So we're going to start with the tool. We're going to disconnect it from the wand, and we're just going to make sure that there's nothing obstructing or inside that neck of the tool. If you look through it, you should be able to see daylight on the other side. Next step, take off the wand from the hose handle. And again, do the exact same thing. We're just going to look through. Should be complete air or daylight going through there. See? Of course, if you're using a power nozzle, same thing applies. Flip the power nozzle over. Make sure where the intake is, or where the dirt goes into the power head, is actually free and clear of any obstruction. On this particular model here, it even has a clever little trap door to assist you in mitigating or seeing what's in there. And likewise, disconnect the wand from the tool. Make sure you can see through the neck on the tool and through the wand on that tool as well. Once you know your tools and are free and clear, you can basically say that those are not the problem. So the next issue is either going to be somewhere in the hose or somewhere in the wall of your central vacuum system. But there's also a third place to check, and a place you want to check immediately before checking through the hose and the wall. Go to your central vacuum and make sure it's not full. If you're running a bag system, you want to make sure that that bag is, if it's full, change the bag. That's more likely the problem that you're having. If you're using a bagless system, just make sure that that bin is completely free and clear of any obstruction in there, and then come back to your hose and test it. If you still don't have any airflow at that point, we want to differentiate whether it's a problem in the hose or a problem in the wall. And this is a very clear thing that you want to do before you call for any service, because it'll be one of the first things that we ask. And to check the hose is very simple. We call it the dime test. So let's demonstrate that. So we know that our tools are free and clear of any obstruction. We know that our bag or our central vacuum is not full. So the next thing to rule out is the hose or the wall. Well, the hose is something that a homeowner can do relatively easy, and it's doing something or performing something that we call a dime test. So take a dime or an object that's similar to the shape and size of a dime or smaller, put it in the end of the hose, and snake it through the hose. If that dime doesn't come out that end of that hose, you've got a blockage. Easy way to rectify that? Well, lucky for you, if you're a Bert's customer or you bought that product from Bert's, bring it on down to the store. There's no charge to clear that obstruction for you. Didn't buy that hose from us? No problem. We can still help you out. Just a small fee, 10, 15 bucks, depending on how much time it takes, and we'll get that out of there for you. While you're at your central vacuum, and if it's bagless, you're going to have a filter up inside there that from time to time is going to be needing to be knocked off. You never want to remove it, but there is a way to clean it while it's still in the machine. So when you empty the machine, of course, take the bottom part off. And this is the filter that I'm talking about right here. It's got a heavy, what is actually just a sandbag inside for weight. Helps try to clean or knock off some of that just in the normal operation of the unit. But the easiest way is take a garbage bag, wrap it around the bottom of the machine. You want to try and make this as airtight as possible. While you've got that around the machine, just reach up from inside the bag, take hold of that weight on the bottom of the filter, just give it a really good shake. Again, you want to do it carefully, not to dislodge that from the machine. Once you've got that shaken off, put the dirt can back on, and that's all there is to it. So now that you've taken some steps to make sure that there's no problem with the hose or any of your tools have the blockage, and you're fairly convinced that the problem is somewhere in the wall, there's another thing you can do as a homeowner before you make a call for service. And that's what we refer to as the shock test, or to shock the system. And it's a very easy thing to do. Step one is go around to all your valves, make sure nothing is plugged in, vac pans or any accessories are turned off or closed. Second step, go to where your machine is located, turn the machine on. And now what you want to do is go around to every single valve. And you're going to pull that, you're going to pull it open, let some air flow, and then let it slam shut. And you're going to do that several times at each and every valve. Once complete, turn your machine off. The sudden change of air pressure oftentimes will assist or loosen up any blockage or debris that might be in the line. And you may have already solved the problem just by doing that. Now, if at this point you still have poor or no airflow, your best option is to give us a call, 403-527-2440. Book in a service call, we'll come on site, and we will eradicate or get rid of whatever blockage is in that line. Okay, so now you've done the shock test and you still have no airflow. Well, unfortunately now it's time to call a professional in. So when we come, or when you give that call to us, one of the first questions we're going to ask you is your brand and model number of your machine. So it's very important to have that information before you make that call. The brand on your machine will be just simply right on the very front of it. Model number and serial number though, if you look at your machine, go to the left-hand side, towards the back you will see a sticker. On that sticker contains the information, model, serial number of your machine. So hopefully by now you've learned a few things on what you can do as a homeowner to try and help the poor suction issue in your home. Or worst case scenario, you've placed that call to Bert's Vacuums and you've got one of our friendly service techs coming on site to help you out. So that's all we have for you today on this episode of our Bert's Monthly Newsletters, and we sure hope to see you on the next one.